Hey there, happy Earth Week from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm Abby Talmadge, the Sales and Marketing Assistant at Givens Estates. To wrap up Earth Week, I went ahead and interviewed 2 residents who are heavily involved in the sustainability efforts here on campus, and I thought it was really interesting. I learned a lot from them, and I hope you do too. And of course, if you have any questions whatsoever about our community, the sustainability efforts, or anything that comes to mind, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is in the description below. Thank you so much, and enjoy. Welcome, Gerry and Barry. Thank you guys so much for being here today. These guys are residents here at Givens Estates, and they are involved heavily with sustainability on campus. Gerry, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about your background and your current involvement with sustainability.
Quickly, I got interested in sustainability as a youth because I did a lot of camping and particularly worked at a YMCA camp in the northern parts of Minnesota and southern Canada, and loved the outdoors and loved maintaining. And I even remember the first Earth Week or Earth Day by Gaylord Nelson because I lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and Cleveland had the Burning River, a few years ahead, and had become national news and helped stimulate the passage of Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act.
And Barry, how about you? What's your background and involvement with sustainability?
I've volunteered for 2 arboretums, the one here in North Carolina, doing invasive removal. And I've done that for about 20 years between the 2. I belong to a church in Illinois that we are on a committee that was sort of an Earth Week type committee. Here at Givens, my wife and I belong to Central, and I was on that Creation Care Committee for about 2 or 3 years. And I'm no longer officially on there, but I have no time because we're working on this here today.
Barry, tell us a little bit more about Earth Week and how that got started and how it's going.
Well, it got started late. Being a new resident, having not been a part of any committee, someone said, "How would you like to be chair of Earth Week?" And I guess I should have asked, what does that mean?
Namely, Gerry was putting the hammer on him.
Well, anyway, we had our first meeting on February 7th, and this is documented, but 45 days later, by March 24th, I think it was, we had a program developed, we had speakers invited, we had a publicity campaign. It was all done by a small core of people, all residents.
With some staff support.
Yeah.
Let me go back and give you a little bit more history that Barry doesn't know, and that is that in 2020, I believe it was, the Resident Association, then called the Resident Council, did a small Earth Week activity. It was one event, and it was basically a electric vehicle show at our grounds building, which just had the solar panels put on it, and there were 3 cars there. 3 residents had cars they displayed, and probably I was there. I was showing off the solar panels, so attendance was probably 40 people. Last year, the big activity, last year's when we did a week long of activity that was spinning off of the sustainability agenda, and we had 9 cars in our EV car show, and we dedicated the solar EV charging station. So we had a ribbon cutting celebration with Kevin Schwab, the CEO, and our resident philanthropist who gave the money for these activities, cutting the ribbon, and all the EV car owners holding ends of it. So anyway, that was the big thing last year, and this year we're trying to build off that. And Barry actually suggested the parade, which I hadn't thought of. I think it's a great idea. We're gonna have a neat little parade tomorrow.
Yeah, we are.
It's only gonna be about 10 or 11 cars out of 20 or so on the campus that are electric now. We're keeping a roster. We know generally who owns them, and so forth.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, Gerry's made this point in our meeting so far, and that is, it is a parade. It's one thing to be a participant in a parade, but as a parade, if you're standing on the sidewalk or you're up in a balcony, you should be cheering and clapping and shouting. And that's the message we want to get. This is a big deal.
Well, we have specific examples on campus of people who have bought or ordered EVs because of our show last year.
Yeah.
And we hope that will continue. And one of them is our executive director. He specifically told me that he bought an EV this year because he was impressed by the show last year. Four staff that I know of have EVs, and
Yeah.
the other 16 or so are resident owned. We would like them all to charge on solar power so they're running on sunshine.
Yeah.
You know, we have a banner up there, I hope you saw it
I
today.
saw it.
That Givens Goes Solar.
Mm-hmm.
And our cheer last year at the ribbon cutting was driving on sunshine.
That's awesome.
And
Okay.
we did that as a responsive cheer several times. Maybe we'll do it again today or this week, because I haven't thought about that, but we'll do it again.
Well, the other part of the parade is the show part, and you're going to have these drivers there with their cars available to answer residents' questions. We're going to have, what is it, 30 chairs set up?
Yeah.
I think.
We're gonna have chairs for all the drivers and their passengers
Yeah.
to sit, so they don't have to stand the whole time. But we'll have extra chairs for residents who want to come and don't want to stand or walk around. They could sit for a while too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is a segue to another topic that Gerry mentioned, and that's the support we've gotten from departments. Specifically, in my case, Life Enrichment has been fantastic. I can't say enough about them, and I won't name their names because so many of them have been working with us.
Excellent.
Yeah, generally, in the history of the program, Life Enrichment has been very supportive of these activities. And I'd say the staff in general has been in other departments too. Leading the parade tomorrow will be Photon Rocky, actually, I should say, from UNC Asheville, which is a demonstration of technological microgrid of solar panel with battery power, a converted golf cart, which now can run power equipment for work also. So that's a demonstration of a microgrid, and with something we would like to encourage on campus, both in our departments and in our residences and all the buildings actually eventually.
Does this mean I could charge my cell phone?
Absolutely, you
Okay,
could. I was
great.
doing it today actually.
Good.
And you also
Well, it
can
has potential.
you also can get a ride in it. Charge the batteries with solar power.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, there's an article in the Mountain, what's it called? The Mountain Express
Yeah.
today about these vehicles.
Really?
Really,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's the sustainability issue.
Yeah.
So, you know, the press is taking notice.
So why are you guys so passionate about sustainability in the environment?
Well, my feeling is that if we don't save the environment, we don't save the world, and the world needs saviors. It needs saviors today, and simple things can help. I mean, everybody says we're overwhelmed by the problem. Well, my attitude is the problem's the problem, but let's talk about solutions that can do something now. And in my case, it's all about energy conservation and energy creation, primarily, that I'm taking an interest in at the moment.
I think my answer would be somewhat similar. According to science, we may have just 10 years before we hit these tripping points, and I'm really concerned about the planet that we're going to leave for our kids if we have a planet for them and the grandkids.
So Gerry, tell me more about the sustainability agenda and how residents are working with Givens to bring sustainable practices.
Well, here at Givens Estates, the history of the campus, both by management and residents for a long time, has been very positive sustainability. And I even take it back to the Givens family before they gave the land here, where they used the land in a very hospitable way and actually built their house with materials off the land. But the recent activity I was involved in was I convened an ad hoc group that wrote a sustainability agenda, And it was basically to encourage the residents to have a statement about what they thought should be done on the campus over a period of probably 10 years or longer, a multi-year agenda. And it didn't necessarily have solutions, but it had questions and activities we thought ought to be investigated. So that was approved last January of 2022 by the Resident Association, and is a formal statement of the residents of this campus. And it's been shared with the management, and the management and we, through our committees that the Resident Association have, are trying to work on implementation.
Can you give me an example of some of the points that are on the
Well,
agenda?
the main items are around things like energy conservation and energy improvement, maintaining of our grounds in an ecologically sound and native way, for instance, educational programs that could be done for both residents and staff on sustainable activities and so forth. Composting is a very interesting item that a lot of people have gotten interested in. Recycling is a very challenging item that a lot of people are interested in, but people don't understand well because it's changed since we were younger and we did one thing and now we need to do different things. So all of these areas are in the agenda in some way. All right, what are you got, a flyer or a different flyer? It's not the
Different flyer, it's not
Earth Week flyer.
Tell
it's
us about it.
Grounds.
Oh, the grounds committee.
Yeah,
flyer.
for the first time, Givens is gonna participate in scavenger hunt, a wildflower scavenger hunt. And we're working with the grounds department, Avery, and we have an entry form where everyone can go out and look for these flowers. And if they have trouble with the small pictures, we have larger pictures here. And all I have to do is submit it, mark the ones I saw, submit it by May 5th, and we will go over these and declare who got the most in the earliest time. And that starts this Friday.
This is a great example of a sustainability activity. Even though you might not call it part of Earth Week, it's still helping people identify all the natural things we have here on this campus.
Exactly.
And I'm sure, because I know the grounds committee wouldn't put anything that's not non-native. Those are all native species, I'll bet.
Avery selected every one of them.
Yeah. So
She's seen every one of them.
well, good. And taking pictures of them, I guess, too. That's great.
Well, Gerry and Barry, thank you guys so much for being here today and telling us all about sustainability at Givens. Hopefully I can have you back soon as we have more events.